Okay. Alright guys, I've been trying to get over a cold, so you just have to bear with my voice. Hopefully you'll be patient with me. I've got a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm going to talk quickly today. So let's get right down to it. The title of this video is New World Order Fire Tempts Men. Now that's an acronym to help us remember all of the factual data that support 9/11 was an inside job and did not, those towers in New York City did not fall simply because a plane hit them. Now, we all know that discussing 9/11 truth with our friends and our family can be a very daunting task. Glenn Beck has already said 9/11 truthers are one of the most fringe, dangerous groups of society. So they're already putting you in a domestic terrorist box if you talk about 9/11 truth. Thank God for the courage of people like James David Manning and Alex Jones. I don't align with Alex Jones on every single thing, but I do think he is a wonderful voice that speaks out to the truth. And I do pray for the protection of Alex Jones and James David Manning every night before I go to bed. I pray for the protection of Ron Paul too. But the question is, are you willing to die to speak the truth? Are you willing to die, and do you want a righteous country, and do you want a righteous environment for your kids? And are you willing to go all the way? See, I am. I'm not saying I'm super brave. I'm not trying to play macho man. But I'm saying that I'm willing to speak about the truth, no matter if it means that I die. And I'm not going to go looking for trouble, but when you speak about the truth, they will come for you. They've already painted us out to be domestic terrorists and crackpots, and they talked about, potentially putting us in insane asylums. So the goal of this video is to discuss and to help create an acronym that provides you the factual evidence you're going to need when you get into these discussions. And let's open up the discussion so that people are willing to talk about it in an open fashion. See, let's talk about Steve Cooper with theconservativemonster.com. I did meet Steve. I don't know if he remembers me, but I do remember him at the James David Manning trial. He did cover the trial, and where I align with Steve is on the birth certificate issue. You can go to his website and read all his articles. He tries to put out a conservative website. He's a disabled veteran, an ex-cop, and I salute him for his service. But when you read his articles, he calls 9/11 truthers useful idiots. He calls people who support Ron Paul-tards. So you have to understand what's driving people like Steve Cooper, because I run into that a lot with my Texas good old boy friends. See, when I try to talk about 9/11 truth with my dad, who was an ex-military person, he said, the only person I heard that garbage from is Rosie O'Donnell. See, I don't care if Rosie O'Donnell shares a belief that I do. I care about what is the truth and what is a lie. I don't care about if people that I don't align with politically have the same view I do on a particular event. I care about what does the truth and the evidence support, and not whether it aligns me with people that I don't necessarily share political or religious views with. The other thing is, you have to keep in mind when you talk to these either ex-military people or very conservative people, and they try to make 9/11 truthers out to be crackpots and Looney Tunes, is that there's now anywhere from 600,000 to 1 million Muslims that have died. The excuse that was used to kill that many Muslims is 9/11. Now, if we talk about 9/11 not being an act of Muslim extremism, but a small group of elite people that control the world, that want to drive the world to a one world government, it takes the excuse away that we've killed 1 million Muslims. And there's a deep-seated, emotional, embedded tie for 9/11 to be associated with Muslim extremism. So people are going to fight that, and they're going to fight it tooth and nail, not because whether it's true or not, because they need 9/11 to be associated with Muslim extremism. Now you're saying, Rudy, you're defending Muslim. You're defending Islam. No, I'm not defending Islam. I don't want anything to do with Islam in America. I don't want Sharia law. I don't want anything. I will do everything I can to keep the Muslim political and religious system from flourishing in America. I was told by a Muslim once, when we go preach Christianity in an Islamic country, that it's like pissing next to where we eat. At least the guy was honest. See, in America, it's a Christian-based nation, and I want to keep it that way, but I want to pursue the truth, and I don't want to use lies to propagate more lies and to propagate false wars. I'm a very conservative. I used to be a very staunch Republican, but I can't associate with the Republican Party anymore. Many of you people need to break out of the left-right paradigm. But anyway, I put this acronym together because you need to help. Something needs to help us all remember the factual data when we get into these arguments, and it's going to get very emotional, and you're going to have to be prepared. I made a previous video called Mangy Roaches, and I need to add a C at the end of that, but that helps you understand all the things that are going on in the world. Satan's lies and deceptions. And I don't know if I can remember every single thing, but let me go over Mangy Roaches real quick. I got 10 minutes and I need to talk really fast. The M in Mangy Roaches stands for media. The media is nothing but lies and propaganda. Do you know that a few months ago, I canceled all of my television? I don't have any television in this house that gets any news station. I don't even watch any news. And I'm proud to say that. Anything I can get can come from the internet. And I don't have to have CNN, Fox News, or these silicon-breasted, GQ men tell me what they think the news is. I can figure out the news for myself by reading myself and investigating myself. And I don't just read things that agree with me, I also read things that don't agree with me, and I make my own decision. But the news is nothing but propaganda and lies. That's what the M stands for in Mangy Roaches. A stands for Abolish the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is the single most evil institution in the world. It is ruining our money supply. It gives power to the political system and the elite bankers to propagate Satan's evil agenda. If you want a single bullet to restore righteousness to the whole world, you take out the Federal Reserve. The N, Mangy Roaches, M-A-N. N stands for 9/11 was an inside job. I'm going to cover that in more detail with the time I have left. G stands for global climate hoax. We all know that Al Gore is a freaking liar and he just wants to control the population. The global climate hoax is the biggest lie, is one of the biggest lies ever propagated on man, right behind the Federal Reserve. The E, our economy is being collapsed by design. This thing is not being done on accident. These people are not that stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. They are ruining America from within. The Y in Mangy stands for youth. The youth of America are being corrupted in their mind with these video games, with these universities. They're being corrupted and not being able to think for themselves, and this liberalist agenda that's being preached in our universities and being taught on our television. The Roaches is the records of Obama, the supreme leader of our land, the supposed leader of the free world. His records have been hidden. He is a usurper. He is not a natural born citizen. He should have never been allowed to be president. That's another big lie that's been propagated into our land and a corruption upon America. The O stands for one world government. Everybody is pushing towards the one world government, and you need to understand how that gives up the sovereignty of America, and our military men and women have fought and died and shed blood for the liberties that we have in this country, and they're giving it up to the United Nations. They're going to give it up to a one world government. You people need to wake up. The A, R-O-A for roaches, attack of the U.S. Constitution. Okay, do you think that they're going to be able to bring about a one world government and keep the rights and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States without destroying that? No, they're going to, when they go to a one world government, our Constitution will die. You can't have both. The C stands for currency collapse. In my opinion, the two most likely things that's really going to happen in the next, I don't know how long, I'm not putting a time frame on it, but it's either going to be a currency collapse that we're going to see in the next few months, and currency collapse happen very fast. They don't happen over a long period of time. A currency collapse is going to happen very fast. The money will become worthless. If you read Genesis, it said, and when the money failed. And money has failed in biblical times and throughout the history of man, and our money is about to fail. And you're going to see the stores go empty. You're going to see Walmart shelves empty, and you're going to have to learn how to take care of yourself, and you're not going to be able to hold your hand out to a government that will take care of you. So the C in roaches stands for currency collapse. The H stands for healthcare. They will propagate their socialist and their communist agenda by taking over the healthcare. Their healthcare does not treat you like a divine creation by God with inalienable rights. Their healthcare system treats you as an economic unit. If you don't produce anything, you are a useless eater and you need to die. Do you understand? The healthcare system that Obama wants to put in place will not treat you with the dignity that you deserve as a creation by God. It will treat you as an economic unit. That if you are not productive, they don't want to spend resources to keep you alive, and there will be a panel that says he doesn't deserve this treatment, he doesn't deserve that treatment, he produces nothing for society, let him die. I've seen it happen in my own family. Okay, E, in roaches, the lies of evolution. You are not an accident. you know, the single worst institution in the whole world is the Federal Reserve, because it gives unlimited money to the evil people to propagate their evil ideas all over the earth. Satan has dominion over the earth, and the Federal Reserve is his biggest tool. But the single worst thought that has ever entered the mind of man, that has ever entered man's mind, is that there is no God. And evolution has helped propagate that. And when you start to think that you're just an accident, and when you start to think that this life is all there is, and that you're going to get as much out of it as you can, you start to lust for your own body. You start to have greed and lust for your own physical existence. And you may say, I'm an atheist and I don't believe like that, Rudy. But I'm telling you, our world leaders have given up on God. They are only in this world for themselves and their own personal greed and their own personal lust. They have given up on God. The lies of evolution have taught them that they are not a creation of God, but they are a creation of accident. The single worst thought that has ever entered the man's mind is that there is no God. And that has allowed things like the Federal Reserve to propagate evil all over this world. The S in mangy roaches is the swine flu and all the false flag attacks. And now I just read on Fox News this morning that there's some superbug that has appeared in 3 states. You can't tell me that's not man-made. They are trying to develop things to kill the population. They know that the population is uncontrollable at the moment, and they need to get it down to a size that they control. Depopulation is in Ecoscience. Rahm Emanuel's brother has written about it. Rahm Emanuel is Obama's White House Chief of Staff, if you don't know that. In the Georgia Guidestones, it talks about depopulation. You guys need to understand how evil our enemy is. You can't sit back and just wish all this away. You need to stand up and take a fight. When I get to the next level, and when I look back on this life, I don't want to say that I just sat here and didn't do a damn thing. I want to say that I spoke up, I did my very best, I passed out DVDs, or I told my neighbors, or I did something to tell the truth. I don't want you to be ashamed of your life either. You need to start investigating this stuff and take a stand. I'm not asking you to agree with me blindly. I'm asking you to look into the evidence. Don't just believe things just because the mainstream media or your university told you to believe it. And then I could throw a C at the end of that, which is chemtrails, and say, Rudy, you've really gone nuts now. What are you going to be talking about next? UFOs and chupacabra? No, I don't believe in chupacabra and UFOs, although maybe next week I will, but right now I don't. But I will say that there was a time when if somebody talked to me about a chemtrail, that I would have called them an absolute nut. But I've seen it in my own skies, and I've done a little bit of research on it, and I'm telling you there's a reason that those trails don't disappear after hours. And I see them crisscross the sky in Texas over my house. And I wish I had a camera with me that day, but I was out on my motorcycle and I didn't have it. You guys need to understand what they're spraying in our skies. These people, these bastards, are spraying chemtrails in our skies to do something. I don't know what, but it's not a regular contrail that disappears after 15 minutes. These things stay for hours. The evidence that I've seen on the internet is that they're full of aluminum and barium and everything else. So anyway, you know, I'm not ashamed to say that chemtrails need to be investigated too. I don't have any personal first-hand knowledge about it, but there's obviously something going on that needs to be investigated. I'm running out of time. I'm going to have to stop the video, and then I'm going to start on my acronym to help you remember the evidence that's associated with 9/11 truth. You people need to get fired up. If people come at you and ridicule you, and they try to make you feel bad, and they try to make you feel like you're turning against the American military, or they try to make you feel like a domestic terrorist, you take that as a badge of honor. You stand up proud and say, I'm for America. I'm for the truth. I'm for talking about the truth. I don't care what you call me. I don't care how you come against me. You can come try to kill me if you want to, but I'm going to talk about the truth, and I'm going to talk about the evidence till the cows come home, and I don't care what you say about me. Do you understand that our children's future depend on your ability to stand up and suffer a little ridicule? Are you willing to suffer a little ridicule to establish the future of our children?